Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good evening. Okay, so let us go through our argumentative essay today. Remember, the objective for week 3 was for you to be able to understand on how to write an effective introductory paragraph. So again, from what later on it is going to be argumentative essay. From what paper 4 writing, there are going to be 2 questions, question 1 and question 2. Now for week 2, the focus would be question 2, which is writing an argumentative essay. Okay, now let us move on. Okay, so again, the focus for this hour is for us to write a clear introductory paragraph. Remember, you need to make a good first impression towards the examiner. Now, come back to the basics where in terms of an introductory paragraph, you need to have, let me go through this again. We need to have a clear gender introduction. No. We need to have a clear gender introduction. Okay, we need to have a clear stand, make it clear, and we need to have a clear thesis statement. Don't delete that. You need to have a clear stand, and we need to have a clear thesis statement. Okay, now these are the basics. You need to have these 3 items, these 3 features in your introductory paragraph to make it into an effective introductory paragraph. Okay, we'll focus on this later. Okay, now please do read your notes. Again, gentle reminder, in order for you to write your thesis statement, you must first have your 3 points. I repeat, you must first have your 3 points. Now, in terms of your 3 points, we are how to generate 3 points, that we will discuss that later. But again, the focus now would be on you to write a clear introductory paragraph. Okay. Now let's look at the stand. This is the part where since it is going, you are required to write an argumentative essay. You need to write a clear stand. Now, in terms of writing a clear stand, darlings, let's look at this question here. Single session schools are better than double session schools. Do you agree? So again, I repeat, if you have used this template, I repeat, use this template to guide you, that whether you agree, whether you disagree to the topic, or you partially agree, or you can also say I do agree to a certain extent. So you use this template in order for you to write a clear stand. You need to indicate a clear stand when you're writing your introductory paragraph. Now for agree, if you're able to come up with 3 points to agree to the topic, then you just, I do agree with the topic. If you totally disagree, 3 points to disagree, hence I disagree with the topic. And if you're partial or you have mutual agreement, do remember, people, you must have at least like 2 agree and 1 disagree, or 2 disagree points or 1 agree. I repeat, for neutral points, just give us 3 points, either 2 agree and 1 disagree points, or 2 disagree points and 1 agree points. It must be 3. Even though you have a lot of points you want to convey, you want to discuss, but do not waste your time. Just focus on elaborating explicitly, developing your 3 body paragraphs well. Okay, that's it. Do not be too ambitious when you're writing an essay during MUAT later on. So again, it's either when you're given a topic, either you agree, you disagree, or you have partial agreement. When you have partial agreement or neutral agreement, indicate whether you will have 2 points to agree and 1 point to disagree, or 2 points to disagree and 1 point to agree. So again, do remember, do not forget to have your cohesive revisers or linkers, therefore, hence and thus, to indicate a clear organization of your ideas. Okay, is that clear? Again, you must indicate clearly your stand, whether you agree, disagree, or have neutral or partial agreement. And you can use this template. To construct your stand later. Now we move on to thesis statement. Now in terms of a thesis statement, do remember it is just a 1-sentence summary of the entire essay. It is just 1 sentence, not 2, not 3, but 1-sentence summary of the entire essay. In order for you to have that 1 sentence, again, you need to generate 3 points first in order for you to be able to summarize or to indicate to the reader what your discussion is going to be all about. It must be written in a complete sentence and not a question, and it must be in the last sentence of the introductory paragraph. Remember that these are the 3 points these are the 3 important information that you need to know regarding thesis statement. Now, again, thesis statement, specific or general thesis statement. Now, as mentioned, you are required to generate, in order for you to write a thesis statement, you need to have your 3 points first. However, you can either write in a specific thesis statement or a specific thesis statement, or a general thesis statement. Remember, what is a specific thesis statement? A specific thesis statement is where you clearly indicate in that one sentence your 3 main points which you are going to argue about, which you are going to discuss about. For example, the sea level is raised due to thermal expansion, point number 1, ice sheet melting, point number 2, and mountain melting, point number 3. So in here, it is clearly stating that this candidate is writing a specific thesis statement because the 3 points that are going to be discussed in the body paragraphs are clearly indicated in the thesis statement. However, for general thesis statement is when you write it in general terms. For example, global warming has several effects. Okay, the usage of general terms such as several effects, several ways, many reasons, many ways, and so forth are considered as general thesis statement. So which one is better, specific or general? It all depends on you. I repeat, it all depends on you. It doesn't mean that if you are to write a specific thesis statement, you're going to gain more marks for language and organization. No. As long as you have a thesis statement, then you're good. Okay, then you're good. Now, let's go through this example. Many tragedies can be avoided if people take preventive actions. So, preventive actions. So, this is the part where, as you can see, if you go through this introductory paragraph, this is the example of a specific thesis statement. The gender introductory paragraph, the gender introduction is the same except for the thesis statement, which is, thus to avoid or reduce the severity of these tragedies, heavy penalties should be imposed, have proper financial planning, and lead a healthy lifestyle. Okay, so as you can see, there are 3 specific points here. Heavy penalties should be imposed, point 1, have proper financial planning, point 2, and lead a healthy lifestyle. So that is 3 points specifically indicated in the thesis statement. Now, compared to the general thesis statement here, such to avoid or reduce the severity of these tragedies, various risk prevention actions methods should be exposed to the people who are living in a challenging environment. As you can see, there is no 3 points specific there. There are no 3 points specifically indicated in the thesis statement. So hence, this is considered as a general thesis statement. Thesis statement is really important because in a way, as you can see from this part lebar here, an essay without a thesis statement is like a car driven by a drunk driver. The examiner, the reader needs to know early on what are you going to discuss about in the body paragraph. Remember, you need to understand the outline of an effective essay in order for you to be able it's easier for the examiner later on to mark and see your outline so that they are able to know and understand and predict what they are going to be reading about, whether you are fulfilling the requirement of the task or whether you are fulfilling, you have a clear link with your thesis statement and your body paragraph. It's so simple. Okay, now next, writing introductory paragraph. Yeah, it's easier said than done. You just write an introductory paragraph, but then again, sometimes it's very difficult for us to write an introductory paragraph. We may have a lot of ideas, but how to begin? Sometimes we do have a writer's block. Now, for some of you who may face problems in even with a language, meaning that some of you are telling me that I'm not good in English. So it doesn't mean that if you're not good in English, you can't score in your essay. There are ways, okay? There are ways. So now, first of all, let us focus on how to begin an introductory paragraph. Now, let's go through this question here. Prevention of becoming snatch theft victims depends on ourselves. So differentiate between theft, snatch theft victims, and thief. Thief is the doer. Okay, the person doing it. So theft is the action is the action. Snatch theft, mangsa ragut. This is like snatch theft, ragut. Okay. So each one of us, we are different in how we think. So everybody has their own beautiful minds. Now, some of you may be like rigid, you may be rigid, scientific, logical, and all those things. But then again, there are also some of you who are very creative, very imaginative, and so forth. So in a way, we will be going through all these. There are 9 techniques for me to show you. There are 9 techniques for me to show you. Okay, so we are going to go through one by one so that you understand on how an introductory paragraph would look like. As you can see, it doesn't have to be long. It is short. Don't be too ambitious, because sometimes when you write longer, you tend to show to the reader that you have more errors. So hence, focus on what you need to convey, which is your stand and your thesis statement, and that's it. Because again, remember, remember your band 3, 4, 5, or even a 5 plus depends on your body paragraph, development of a body paragraph. So again, as we go through all these techniques, try to identify which of these techniques suit you best. Meaning, some of you may have kind of like a rigid thinking. Some of you are very imaginative and creative. So go through this and let's see which of these techniques suits you best. Once you have identified a technique which you think you are able to do well in writing an introductory paragraph, just focus on that one technique, and forever exercises that we have after this, you just focus on using that technique and polish it until the end, until we go for our exam. For example, here, technique 1 is a short dialogue. Now, for those of you who are imaginative, or for those of you who are creative, you can use this short dialogue. Take note, short dialogue, not a full drama script. Short dialogue. For example, the question here is prevention of becoming snatch theft. Victims depends on ourselves. Discuss. So as you can see, for example here, Aisha, did you hear about Auntie Rokia? She was crossing the road when someone on a bike just snatched her handbag. Intan, oh my goodness, Aisha, she fell down and hit her head on the pavement. She is now in ICU. So as you can see, you begin with a short dialogue 1. Just a short dialogue. Again, I repeat, short dialogue, not just to indicate what the situation is, relating to the topic, which is prevention of becoming snatch theft victims. Okay, depends on ourselves. And then as you finish that dialogue, then you refer to the dialogue. Conversations like this are becoming more commonplace nowadays in Malaysia. The number of snatch thefts in the country is increasing. So you relate, you indicate, you touch on the dialogue, okay, and relate it to the topic. And then the number of snatch theft in the country is increasing, and many innocent people have lost cash, valuables, and some even their lives. So then you have already entered the topic, answering to the question. And hence, see, as you can see here, hence, that is a linker. I do agree that it is important that as concerned proactive individuals, we take the necessary steps to avoid becoming victims ourselves. You enter the stand straight away. And lastly, by always being aware of our surroundings, walking in groups, and avoid wearing expensive or flashy jewelries. 1, 2, 3. So this is a specific thesis statement, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of an introductory paragraph. As you can see, it's short, but short and sweet. Okay, 1. So when you begin a short dialogue, you start your short dialogue, refer to the dialogue, explain the dialogue, enter the topic, go to your stand, and then your thesis statement, and then you're good. As you can see, it's just a short dialogue. Most important here, you need to understand introductory paragraph is just you introducing the topic. That's it. You do not need to waste your time to write a lengthy introductory paragraph. Now, that's it. Okay, so now this is the part where, so when you're writing a short dialogue, make sure that it's not too long. Make it concise here, padat dan pendek, and focus, as this is only an introduction to the topic. So that is technique 1. So do you think you are able to go through to use technique 1? Again, it depends on you, because each and every one of us are different. Now, next, technique 2. Narrate a brief story. Anecdote is a brief story. But then again, make sure that you are focused on the to answer the question. The theme of the anecdote must be answering to the question. For example, here, Amy was walking on cloud 9. Her longtime boyfriend just proposed to her last night, and she can't stop smiling. She was so lost in thoughts, remembering the memorable events that she did not notice 2 men on a motorcycle slowly approaching her. Suddenly, they zoomed past her while the pillion rider while the pillion rider quickly pushed her down and snatched her handbag. It happened in a blink of an eye. Amy fell down, hitting her head hard on the road divider. She never regained consciousness. We seem to be reading such stories in the newspapers almost every day. And as you can see, the highlighted phrase is the stand, and the blue highlighted phrase sentence is the thesis statement. So simple. So if you are the type of person who left-handed, left brain, right brain, left brain, right brain. I got confused. Okay, so if you think that you are somebody who is imaginative and creative, and when you look at the topic, you think that you're able to come up with an anecdote or a brief story, then so be it. So as you can see here, from here to here, it is the anecdote, the brief story on how dangerous it is to be snatched theft victims. And then we seem to be reading such stories in the newspapers almost every day. Then you're entering the topic, and then you go you continue with your stand, whether you agree or disagree, and then ta-da, thesis statement, and you're good. So basically, an introductory paragraph consists of a clear general introduction, relevant general introduction, enter the topic, a stand, and then your thesis statement. So simple. Now let's look at these words here. Pillion rider. Some of us may not be familiar with this word, pillion rider. So pillion rider here means what? Pembonceng. Okay, pembonceng, the person who is the second rider in the on the motorcycle. Pillion rider. So take note of these words. Perhaps you can use these words later in your future essay, or perhaps you can do it in you can use this new word in case you do not know in your daily conversation, such to practice for your speaking test later on. Now, another thing which I'd like to point out here is when you're writing your thesis statement, make sure that all the verbs in the thesis statement must be in the same tense. The verbs in the thesis statement must be in the same tense. For example, in this for technique 2, the example here, by. Now, as we know, the preposition of by, by, okay, the verb after the by, you must add an ing. For example here, by always being aware of our surroundings, avoiding all lonely roads and dark alleys, and not wearing expensive or flashy jewelry. So when there is a preposition of by, all the verbs must be added an ing, number one. Now, number two here would be, even though you're not using the preposition by, just to inform you that the verb that you use in your thesis statement must be in the same tense. I repeat, it must be in the same tense. So, however, if you think that creating a story is not your forte, what does forte means? Forte is your kelebihan. Forte is your strength. Okay, if you think that creating a story is not your forte, is not your strength, then you can try these other techniques. Okay, whatever it is, you try to identify which technique suits you best, and then you try to polish that technique until the end, until we have to go through our MWET exam. Now, technique 3, begin with a quotation. Okay, so this is the part when you are given the question, essay question, try to remember a relevant quotation which suits the topic or essay given. For example, here is, you begin with a quotation, it is better to be safe than sorry. So here you begin with your quotation, you start with a quotation, again, a relevant quotation. Don't just pick and choose any quotation, but in a way it doesn't relate to the question. Make sure that you understand, and you understand how to use the quotation that you have chosen in mind, that you have in mind. So it is better to be safe than sorry. You begin with a quotation, and then you explain that quotation. Though this may sound like a cliche to some, there is much wisdom in these simple words of advice. And then the number of snatch theft in the country is increasing, and many innocent people have lost cash, blah blah blah. Okay, now then you relate to the topic, then you have your stand, and then you have your thesis statement. So simple. Okay, so when you begin with a quotation, you start with your quotation, you explain the quotation, you enter the topic by relating the quotation and your explanation to the topic, and then your stand, therefore, and then your thesis statement, and you're good. In the case where you know of any relevant quotation that you can relate to with the question given later. That is technique 3. Technique 4, presentation of facts or figures. For example, here, based on the style .com.my in March 21, 2019 revealed that more than 95% of snatch theft victims were women. So as you can see that this technique begins with facts and begins with facts and figures. Okay, it had also been revealed that most of the victims were seriously injured in these incidents. Again, presentation of facts and figures or figures. The number of snatch thefts in the country is increasing, so entering the topic, and then therefore I do agree the stand and the thesis statement. So simple, short and sweet, because you have in a way managed to present your purpose, which is introducing the topic and introducing what you will be writing about. Now, do take note. In language and organization. No, in task fulfillment marks. I repeat, in task fulfillment marks. There is this rubric for the assessment, which is your maturity of ideas. Now, as you can see here, this is specifically indicating based on the Star newspaper in March 2019. In a way, if we just indicate the star.com.my, also we accept. Now, if you were to write based on a survey done, based on the research done, based on studies done, if you're just generally indicating a survey done, research done, journal done, but then again, you do not specify which research, which survey, which journal which are you referring to present your facts or figures, there is no specific name or research, then it is considered as immature. When you show lack of maturity in presenting your ideas, you are in a category of band 3. Okay? Okay, clear? So make sure that if you want to say based on this research done by University of Malaya, for example, make sure it is specific and not in general terms. Everybody, anyone can write based on research, based on survey, blah, 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 and all those things. So hence that is the difference if you want to use presentation of facts or figures. The same goes in your body paragraphs. If you're going to mention in your body paragraph based on this research, based on the survey done by whoever, make sure that you have a specific name for it rather than generally indicating based on a survey or a research. Now next, technique 5. Element of surprise. Okay, we're talking about snatch theft. Now, let's look at this. Snatch theft have become so rampant. What is rampant? What is rampant? Now, remember your contextual clues, people. Remember your contextual clues. What is so rampant? If in the case, if you don't remember your what am I saying? Okay, remember your contextual clue skills. Okay, if you do not know what rampant means, as you can see here, we have the linker and then there is another word here, rampant and common. Rampant and common nowadays. Snatch thefts have become so rampant and common nowadays that they are even done in broad daylight. So in a way, remember your contextual clues. If you do not know what rampant means, do not panic. If you come upon any words in your reading comprehension text or whatever that you are reading, you do not know what the word is unfamiliar to you, do not panic. Just read on. Read on. For example, so rampant and common. I do not know what rampant means, but do we know what common means? Do we know what common means? Okay, so if we know what common means, meaning something yang biasa, something which is done every day, which is so familiar to us. So I don't know rampant, but I do know the word common. And the sentence here is become so rampant and common nowadays. So in a way, we can make an educated guess that rampant also means common. Okay, faham? Use our context clue skill. Okay, so now, as you can see, element of surprise. More shockingly, they have no respect and care less of who their victims are. This is because a 72-year-old woman from Pengkalan Chippa was attacked, hit in the head and robbed by 2 men in 2018. So in a way, you begin with an element of surprise on how shocking, for this question, on how shocking snatch theft can be and how dangerous and harmful it can be. An old woman, how can they be so heartless? Therefore, I do agree. Okay, so as you can see here, and then we straight away go to the stand and then the thesis statement. So simple. Element of surprise. So this is you may be wondering, did this really happen? This is because a 72-year-old woman from Kuala Lumpur was attacked. Yes, it really did happen. You can Google it later if you are wondering, in 2018. Okay, so if you, let's say if you come upon when you're given an essay topic, and then you remember you are somebody who is an avid reader of the news, you're always reading the newspaper, or perhaps you come upon this shocking news in TikTok, Instagram, or even Facebook, then perhaps you can relate it to your essay. You can relate it using your introductory paragraph, or even you can make it into a specific example in your body paragraph. Okay, that is technique 5, which is element of surprise. Moving on to technique 6. Begin with a general statement. This is the common ways on how we can write an our introductory paragraph. You're given a topic, you give a general statement regarding the topic. For example here, the number of snatch theft in the country is increasing and many innocent people have lost cash, valuables, and some even their lives. Okay, general statement of the topic. Victims are often emotionally traumatized even in months after the incident. As innocent people, we must not sit back and wait for these unscrupulous thieves to rob and injure us. So as you can see here, as you can see here, you begin with, okay, sorry, but excuse me. Okay, so as you can see here, we begin with a general statement regarding the topic, and then number 2, straight away enter the stand and your thesis statement. So simple. So again, for me, I am a visual learner. In order for me to remember things, I use colors, I use images, and so forth. So I hope this can help you as well, that the yellow indicates stand. Later on when you do your revision, the yellow highlighted sentence is the stand, and the blue highlighted sentence is the thesis statement. Okay, when you do your revision. So remember, as mentioned just now, thesis statement must be in the last sentence of your introductory paragraph. Now, moving on to technique 7, common misconception, meaning that you're given a topic, and then what is the common misconception of the topic? A common misunderstanding or false view that is related to your topic. Now, why this is interesting? This technique is interesting because it can trigger your reader's curiosity to want to know more. For example, here, the number of snatch thefts in the country is increasing and many innocent people have lost cash, valuables, and some even their lives. The common misconception, terus masuk. Okay, this is general introduction. This is general information regarding the topic. The common misconception among many people is that the victims are young women who carry handbags. Snatch thieves do not discriminate between young and old, male and female. Everybody is a potential snatch theft victim, whether you carry a handbag, shopping bag, or a briefcase. So as you can see, number 1 is indicating this, the common situation. Number 2, okay, number 2. Now this is entering the common misconception, which is technique 7. Okay, and then straight away entering the stand and then your thesis statement. So simple. Okay, if you're able to have a false view of the topic. So yeah, it does trigger curiosity among your readers. Now lastly, technique 8. Now this is the technique. If you ask me, teacher, what can I do in order for me to let's say I have writer's block, no matter what, I'm having a panic attack during exam. So which technique is the best technique? For me personally, is the questioning technique, because you begin with a question, construct a question based on the given topic, then answer it to become the explanation. So simple. For example, what can we do to prevent snatch thefts in Malaysia? Do we have to lie down and play victim every time somebody decides to take what rightfully belongs to us? So as you can see, this begins with a question. Then you answer your own questions. The number of snatch thefts in the country is increasing and many innocent people have lost cash, valuables, and some even their life. We must act now. So you answer the question. You ask the question, construct question based on the topic given, you answer them yourself, you construct the question, you answer them yourself, and then you enter the stand, give your stand, and then your thesis statement. So simple. So if you think that you are having a panic attack, you do not know how to begin, you do not know how to write, look at the question and start asking questions based on the topic given to you. Start asking one or two questions depending what kind of a question that is. Answer your own question, enter the and explain it, enter your stand, give your stand and thesis statement, and then you're good. So simple. So again, technique 8 is Z technique in case where everything else fails. Technique 8 is questioning technique, is Z technique that I would highly suggest for you to begin your essay, introductory paragraph. And lastly, technique 9, bold assertion, which is a confident and forceful statement of fact or belief. It is also very provoking. Okay, bold statement is also very a provoking statement relating to the given topic. But yeah. So, like for example here, we are acting like lambs being led to the slaughter. Every single day, snatch thieves rule the city streets while we cower in fear. So, as you can see, it is a bold statement. It is a provoking statement. Um, yeah, it is a provoking statement. So as you can see, if you are somebody who is good with your words, or you are a drama king or drama prince or a drama queen, so perhaps you are able to use this bold assertion. For example, you were acting like lambs being led to slaughter every single day. It's full of drama. So bold assertion is a provoking statement or full of drama. So that you begin with you begin with a bold you begin with a bold statement, and then you explain it, enter the topic, and then your stand, and then your thesis statement. So simple, so simple. So these are the 9 techniques which you can use in order for you to begin your introductory paragraph to make it interesting. If you go through all of these techniques, as you can see, it is short, but it serves its purpose, which is introducing the topic. So there are 9 techniques here. You can choose which technique suits you best, or which you are familiar with, or which is your forte. What is your forte? Which is your strength. So it all depends on you. Again, it all depends on you. So you can choose, so that later on during exam you just in a way quickly just write your essay without any worries. Okay, this is adapted from the complete guide, text and guide Nusa Mas. Again, do not waste too much time on writing the introduction. Choose a technique that suits you and develop your ideas from there, because your band 3, 4, 5, or even a 5 plus depends on the way you develop your body paragraphs. Okay, now these are the examples. Hopefully you have downloaded the notes which I've given you, this note which I've given you, and watched the video which I've given you earlier. So these are the sample question, past year model exam questions which the previous students have done. Education today should focus on producing creative individuals. Do you agree? Academic excellence guarantees a successful life. Do you agree? So these are selected students' essays, which you can refer to and read, so that hopefully it can guide you, and hopefully it can make you see that you do not have to write a long introductory paragraph in order to impress the examiner. No, just write short and sweet as long as you serve its purpose, which is introducing the topic. That's it. So that's it for our argumentative essay. Yeah, for our argumentative essay, which is in writing an introductory paragraph. Remember, come back to the basic. Introductory paragraph consists of general introduction, you introducing the topic, then what is your stand towards the topic, and you need to have a clear thesis statement indicating what you tend to discuss in the body paragraph. Okay, refer to the notes. Please read your notes. Yeah. So if there are any questions, do not hesitate to ask me. That's all from me. Thank you.